After your dog has been through the basic obedience training program, what you do afterwards is very crucial to the long-term success of the upgrade that you have given your dog. So you want to start off by making sure you build routines similar to the routines that your dog went through during the program. And these routines will be strengthened by regular walks. Now the walks done just according to the way your trainer recommends are going to give you an opportunity to send strong signals to your dog intentionally on a regular basis. So when this goes up, it sends a signal. The signal means sit. As soon as he sits, yes, he hears a marker and then he gets a reward. So the idea is you want to practice so that you get the opportunity to send signals like this, subtle signals like this, and they're just going to be a quick everyday reminder that someone is actually in charge. And these signals are going to cue your dog to realize, okay, the relationship with you is quite similar or the same to the relationship with the handler that trained it. When we're walking, it should look something like this, right? It should look effortless and we should be within a healthy space of each other, right? Whenever I come to a stop, it should look like that. He should also stop. So when you do that regularly, it's going to see you more and more in the same light that it sees the person that got it to be responsive and follow instructions and whatnot. So you'll get a similar response from your dog. Next, you want to make sure that every time that you interact with your dog, it is intentional, starting with when you let your dog out of the kennel. So every time you're letting your dog out of the kennel, you want to use that opportunity to practice, one, its response to a command like sit, and then two, its ability to control its impulse to come out, because it's been in there a while, so it's definitely eager to come out. Ask him to sit, and if he's already sitting, mark it, yes. And then when you have marked it, open the gate, and then you hold him there for a while. So when you are ready to allow him to come out, then you free him. Free. And when he comes out, just stand your ground and wait on him to calm down. So when he calms down, mark it, yes. And then you can pet him. Yes, very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. And when you want him to go back into his kennel, once the door is open, you can point at the kennel and ask him to go inside. Inside. And when he's inside, you mark it. Yes. And then you shut the door. Now, when you're simply spending time in the compound with your dog, it's an opportunity for you to practice the name recall. And with the name recall, you want your dog to just get used to responding to its name quicker and quicker, and even when it's distracted. And even when it's distracted and you are getting it right, you want to start to increase the distractions more and more to perfect it further every opportunity you get. I like to practice the name recall just by being in the same space with the dog and then randomly calling and then rewarding the right response, right? What's the right response? If his attention is elsewhere, motion, yes. If I call and then he starts to come to me, I'll mark and then I'll reward him when he gets here. So I usually like to wait until he's distracted or he's focused elsewhere to call. And then what I mark is usually the shift of attention from whatever he was focused on to me. So I'm going to look away and then pretend as if I'm not interested. And then when I notice from looking from the side of my eye that he's looking away, I'll call his name and try to get his attention. Motion. Yes. And then I reward. So that's how I like to practice the recall with him. So when you practice like this for a while and it gets better and better, you can begin to add some distractions. Create a distraction. So I have a treat. Motion. Yes. Very good. So now I'm yanking him away from the distraction with the leash. And when he turns away from it and gives me his attention, I mark immediately and then I follow up with a reward. So I'm going to throw a distraction that way. Motion. Yes. Very good. So whenever he gets to the end of the leash, I nudge a little, right? I always want to be light with a nudge, and if I need to add intensity the second time, I do that. And then as soon as he turns, I mark, and as you see, he gets a reward when he gets here. Another thing you want to practice with your dog is what I call the art of luring. So that is, having a treat in hand, using that to move your dog around in various shapes or various positions and at various speeds as well. So the more you practice this, the more you'll take advantage of the fact that the very hand that gives your dog the reward, that has become so interesting to your dog, can become a conductor to help you to guide your dog, no matter how old it is, no matter how big it is, to exactly where you want it at any given time. So you want to practice that as well. I have a piece of chicken sausage in my hand, so I'm going to support it with my thumb in the middle of my hand here, as you can see. And this way I can lure him without letting it go, and only let it go when I decide it's time to let it go. Is it time? Is it time? Yes. And every time before I let it go, I mark. So now you're beginning to mark before you let go of the treat, to make sure that he still understands that the marker comes before the treat. So come. I want him to move. He's moving. He's moving. He's moving. This is what I wanted him to do. So I mark yes, and then I reward. That's the idea. Good. Come. I want him to get here. Yes, and then I reward. Now, once you have spent some time practicing the lure with your dog, you want to move on to some basic commands. So in order to practice sit, for example, the lure will give you the ability to move your dog to the very spot where you want it to sit. So now, whilst we are practicing the sit command, I like to take the opportunity to practice the lure as well. So I lure the dog to do the sit in various positions around me, so that it gets used to responding no matter if the position seems awkward or not. And then also it gives me the opportunity to practice the lure more and more and help guide my dog into positions that are more and more comfortable for it to be in. So we practice the sit command for a while. I can call him come. So when he comes to me, I will use the lure to get him where I want him to be when he's sitting. So I want him to be facing you guys with me. Then I'll get him here and then sit. Yes. And then I reward him. Since this is where I want him sitting. How did I get him here? I use the lure to lure him to exactly where I want him to be. So now, if I want us to do a face-to-face, I can lure him, or I can step away and call him towards me and use a subtle lure. Motion. Yes. And then when he comes, as long as I keep my hand here, it means I'm engaging a lure. So I'm luring him to stay at this exact position, and then yes, I reward that. If I want him to sit where I took him to, now I repeat, I lure him, get him there, and then sit. Yes, reward him when he sits. Good, free. Very good. And then we practice the down command as well. So usually I'll take the treat away to make sure I have his attention, and mostly he'll go into the sit, which is like a default. So that when I ask him to go down, he can see me, register the gesture, down. Yes, and make a decision. So when he goes down, the idea is when his elbow gets to the floor, you mark the exact moment and you reward. Just like with the sit, when his bum touches the floor, you mark and reward, right? So I'm going to free him. Free. Yes. Good. And then we're going to try that again, right? So I'm going to lure him to stay here. Take the treat away. Make sure I have his attention first. And I can always stop him with a leash if he tries to get distracted and go away. And once I have his attention, down. Yes, mark the moment his elbows touch the floor and then give him the treat, right? Once you have had some practice with the sits and the downs, you want to now move to impulse control whilst you're interacting with your dog in general spaces. So you can do impulse control when your dog is in a sit or when it's lying down. And I like to practice in both scenarios. So you can play around with your dog and then randomly ask your dog to sit. And when your dog sits down, you can leave it alone to see if it will follow you or it will control the impulse to follow you and stay put until you call it to follow you. So that aspect is what is termed impulse control, and it's just pretty much teaching your dog to stay and wait on you to tell it otherwise. Now you're actually going to see if your dog can control itself, if it's thinking on the job. So if it sits down like this, if I want to enforce this behavior, I'm going to ask it to sit, to remain seated. Sit. Yes. Mark and then walk away and expect him to stay there. So when he stays and I realize it, I mark yes. And then I make my way to him and reward him. And if he was in a sit and he relaxes into a down, just for the sake of correction, I'd lure him back into a sit. with the help of the leash if I need to. And once he's in a sit, he gets the reward. And then I mark again, yes, and repeat to kind of correct the last blunder. No. And this is also where you begin to get to apply the principle of correction. Come. So when you do it the first time, most likely, yes, it's going to lead to a mistake. He's going to break free. So you correct by marking that moment with a no, bringing him back to the same spot, putting him in the same direction, putting him back in a sit with the help of the leash, leaving him in a sit, and then repeating. Yes, mark when I realize he's there, make my way back to him. Yes, and then reward. So that's the idea. So usually when you practice it, you want to make sure if you're around him, if you're moving around him and whatnot, he's staying. So when you make a few movements and he's there, you mark yes. And then you reward that to encourage this kind of behavior. Sometimes you just want to randomly climb the stairs as if you're going inside. When he stays, you mark yes. And then you come and you reward the behavior. And then after 1 or 2 successes, you free him. Free? Yes. To enforce the fact that yes, there's a moment of freedom, right? So you're not going to be there forever. It's never going to happen. You'll always be freed at some point. So it encourages that. It also helps him to understand the free command and look forward to it whenever I give him an instruction. Very good. So please make it a point to practice these regularly with your dog if you are keen on improving your relationship with your dog long term. And also if you really want to get obedience out of your dog, then practice walks with your dog and sessions with your dog regularly.